This is Mr. Tall and this is Mr. Small. Two completely different striker builds, and today we're finding out which one is the meta in FM26. Is it the 6'4" aerial monster with 20 heading and 20 jumping reach, or the 5'6" speed demon with 20 pace, 20 acceleration and elite finishing? To find out, I ran 3 separate experiments. A full career sim from non-league to retirement, a 195 current ability test to see who climbs the league's fastest, and a final showdown at PSG using the same team, same role and same tactic. So what is the meta striker build in FM26? Is it Mr. Tall or Mr. Small? Let's find out. We are, of course, kicking this off with the full career simulation, where we are starting with Mr. Tall and Mr. Small. Mr. Tall, for example, his player attributes, he has got a potential ability of 200 and a current ability of 85. With his standout stats in jumping reach and heading, they are where Mr. Tall is going to make his difference. Compared to Mr. Small, who starts with 17 acceleration and 17 speed, but weak heading and jumping reach. We're really trying to find out if it is the big burly man with elite heading or if it's the speed demon, which are meta on FM. And again, the same for Mr. Small, a 200 potential ability and an 85 current. Mr. Small is starting his career at Telford, who before him joining were ranked as the worst club to go to in the Enterprise North, while Mr. Tall is starting at Tonbridge, where it was the exact same story. Before he joined, they were the worst ranked clubs in the Enterprise South. So given the fact they already are starting at the 2 worst ranked clubs in England, it's the start of a rivalry. But the fact we've also got Mr. Small as a Scotsman and Mr. Tall as a Welshman, we've created yet another rivalry in this career simulation. Can one of them get one of these great nations to win a European competition? Who knows? You never know. Will we create the next Gareth Bale? Will we create the next Kenny Dalglish? It's all to come in this career simulation. And in my opinion, we just have to start this off with Mr. Tall, who was just incredible in the air throughout the course of this first season. It was quite clear that because of his sheer size, he was able to bully defenders left, right and centre and score a bunch of goals. Just like this final day of the season hat-trick that he got at home in front of his faithful crowd. And just 16 years of age, went on to score 28 goals in 38 games with 6 assists and a 7.53 average rating. 18.8 in terms of XG, so outperformed that by 10, which is absolutely insane. And straight away in the first season has won recognition as the Enterprise National League South's Player of the Season and top goal scorer runner-up. Sadly for Tonbridge, it was nowhere near enough to make them promotion candidates this season, and instead finished down in 10th place, but much better than the predicted 24th before the Man Mountain turned up. As for Mr. Small, he has certainly had a different start to his career, with victories at Telford coming up plenty and scoring 8 goals in 24. He was snapped up by Manchester United in January for £22,000. Now, his goal scoring record is a lot different to Mr. Tall's. You know, around half, if not a third of the goals in the same amount of games, you know, per game. And he's been snapped up by Manchester United. So obviously the AI is thinking that speed is everything. Speed is the meta. But the reason we've done multiple experiments is because a big move like this to Manchester United can completely change the trajectory of one of these players' careers. Now, just leaving Football Manager for a second and jumping to Footium, because the season starts this week. And of course, I've been doing that this week on Footium for my first season with Stoltenberg in Division 8, setting up a 4-3-3 and even making my first ever signing with Makita in the left back as a 37 rated for about 80 cents. The reason that I find Footium so interesting as a Football Manager player is because of the academy system they have on the game as well. Every single year, you're going to get an influx of academy players like a youth intake, and you can go in and buy them from the market before anyone else can. Just like this guy, Konstantin Radev, an 18-year-old goalkeeper at 32. Or Adrian Alfonso, who you can see here I can buy for $8.83. But if I wanted to buy someone of a similar age and similar profile, they would cost me about $15 on the market. So having your homegrown academy players is an absolutely fantastic system that Footium have got. The link in the description if you do sign up using that link, either play for free or buy a club. I massively appreciate it. And a massive thanks to Footium for sponsoring today's video. Because as we now join back in 2030, 5 years into Mr. Small's career, he has hardly progressed at all. He is still at Manchester United and hasn't played really any games in his career. And he still only has a 103 current ability, meaning he's only risen 18 since the start of this journey, and he's at 21 years of age already. And if we compare that to the career of Mr. Tool, who is currently Arsenal's number 9, it's dramatically different. In his second career season, he mastered his craft and scored 43 goals in 38 starts at Tonbridge, before making his move up the English leagues and signing for Stockport for just £250,000, who now play in League One, and he scored 25 goals in 32 games in his first League One season. He now also has 3 caps for the Welsh national team at just 19 years of age, and he really has developed into already an absolute bagsman. Pretty sad when you compare him to Mr. Small, because if I had my money at the start of this video, I'd 100% have placed it on Mr. Small becoming the dominating player. I always look at pace, acceleration as the main things when I'm looking for a striker on FM26. But maybe this video will show that there is more to it than just speed. The big man continued to impress and even helped Stockport gain promotion to the Championship. Before his move to Arsenal, this is how he looked. He was wanted by 18 different clubs after being requested for transfer for £2.7 million. And having worked up through the English leagues, he is now a 157 current ability. And like I say, you compare that to the 103 of Mr. Small, that is absolutely insane. And we haven't given him the most ridiculous stats in the world. 15 acceleration, 15 pace, now 19 heading, 20 jumping reach. The man mountain is just becoming an absolute issue. And for someone that has worked his way up through the leagues, it is fantastic to see him now settling in at Arsenal with 40 games played over 2 seasons with above a 7 average rating. He now has 20 caps for Wales as well and 11 goals with £325,000 a week being earned. He has also managed to pick up a whole bunch of awards, including the Sky Bet League One Player of the Season, the Sky Bet League One Young Player of the Season, and the World Under-21 Footballer of the Year runner-up, which I've got to say is pretty impressive. Obviously, throughout the course of this career simulation, we're not sure if we're going to see anyone do this, but can we see someone win the Golden Ball? Now, the good news is that after 6 years, Mr. Small is now finally leaving Manchester United. It looks like the old wives' tale of you join Manchester United and your career goes down the pan has come around true once again with Mr. Small. But being released, will he be able to go and revive his career and get up to Mr. Tool's levels? I think what we've learned so far is that game time is so important to how a player progresses, whether they're Mr. Tool or Mr. Small. If you have a 200 potential wonder kid and you don't play them, they're never going to progress into their star man. And we can see that here just 2 seasons later, now that Mr. Small has had 2 consecutive seasons being a star man for Motherwell, he's turned into an absolute menace. Now having 3 caps for Scotland and a goal, 17 composure, 15 finishing, and his pace, well, it's not gone up to 20 like Mr. Tool was heading, but it is now at 18 acceleration and 18 pace. In terms of his current ability, he is sitting at 138. So even after 2 years of full game time, he's not yet at Mr. Tool's level, but he is getting there. And sadly now, still with no real awards to his name, but Mr. Small can go on and reinvent himself. His first season at Motherwell was absolutely shocking. 5 goals in 31 games, 12 goals in 33 this season is much better. But I've got to say, Mr. Small has not impressed me so far. That's not what can be said about Mr. Tool, who is now worth £241 million, and now after 2 back-to-back seasons being Arsenal's number 9, has got over 20 goals in the Premier League in both seasons. The trophy screen is just absolutely insane. He obviously won at Sky Bet League One promotion with Stockport, got his first international goal age 20 for Wales against Andorra, come runners-up in the Champions League and FA Cup in 2030, and runners-up in 2031 and 2032 in the FA Cup for Arsenal, but in 2033, this is the FA Cup and Carabao Cup in the same season. Of course, based on current ability, he is miles better than Mr. Small. In fact, he is basically the best player in the world with a 196 current ability. Just to compare that to Erling Haaland, who we know is an absolute joke, he is now at a 190 current ability. So our boy Mr. Tool is 6 ratings better than Haaland. And again, that is why we have got 3 separate experiments throughout this video. Remember, we're going to be giving both of these players their 195 current ability stats in non-league football and giving them 5 years to rise up through the leagues and see who does better that way. And then for the ultimate test at the very end, running 2 separate simulations, both at PSG, both in the same tactic, both as the number 9, and see who scores more goals. And by the end of it, we will know who the most meta striker is. So far, it's certainly looking like big men with good jumping reach and area reach are by far the best. It's pretty interesting that even someone like Kylian Mbappe, who I've just looked at in this career save now, at 34 years of age, never really done better than what Mr. Tool has already in his career in FM simulations. And I feel like in past years of Football Manager, it would certainly be the case that little pacey strikers were always the way to go. In non-league, yes, big men would thrive, and I expected that at the start of this simulation. But now with these players at 24 years of age, I expected it to completely go the other way, and Mr. Small would continue to dominate. That's not quite happened in this particular journey. And when it's pretty obvious that who is going to come out on top in this 20-year career simulation as we sit now in 2040 and Mr. Tool is still at Arsenal, becoming an Arsenal legend, it's got to be said. A Welsh legend as well, with 44 goals in 73 appearances. His Arsenal career has been pretty much insane. Last year, he got 29 goals on a 7.52 average rating, which is absolutely incredible, and hasn't got a season dipping below 19 pretty much since he became the number 9. This awards thing is absolutely insane. In terms of World Footballer of the Year, he's come incredibly close, finishing 2nd to Rodrigo Mora and 3rd this season to Lamine Yamal. But back in 2036, he won the Golden Ball, meaning Mr. Tool is a Ballon d'Or winner, along the likes of Bukayo Saka, Lamine Yamal, Nico Paz, and now the regens coming through. Mr. Tool has a Ballon d'Or. Since we were last here, this is his 2034 record, which is incredible. He came runner-up in the Goal 50, has won a whole bunch of awards of Arsenal, including the Carabao Cup. He became the Arsenal captain in 2035. In 2036, there's just too many to go through, but he is the Wales vice-captain, and he actually became the Arsenal World Golden Ball winner in 2037, won the FA Cup and Carabao Cup at Arsenal in 2038, and in 2039 won the Europa League. Doesn't look like he's actually won a Premier League, which is hilarious for Arsenal. Because even with one of the best strikers in the world, Spurs have gone on to completely dominate North London, and Manchester United are back on top. So, sadly, Mr. Tool hasn't done everything in terms of transfers. While Mr. Small has had his career revitalisation. With 9 goals in 33 games for Scotland, Mr. Small is now a Premier League striker at Brighton, which is a very good level to get to. After them 3 seasons at Motherwell, he joined Brighton and has been pretty incredible here. A 24-goal season in 2037 and a 20-goal season in 2040. Mr. Small has kind of had his Jamie Vardy. He's even got the Jamie Vardy trim to go with it. In terms of his awards, however, yeah, there's just not a lot to talk about, is there? He came runner-up in the Premier League Golden Boot race and same in the European Golden Shoe. And number 2 seems to be where Mr. Small carries on finishing. And some of them goals in 2040 were some of the last of his career. As at the age of 31, Mr. Small's legs had certainly left him behind, and he became a fox in the box. Something to also possibly note when you are buying a striker on FM26 is that faster players might drop off a lot quicker. As in 2042, he decided to retire from football. As an impact sub for Brighton over the last 2 seasons, he only went on to score 3 more professional goals after the last time we checked in, and that's because his pace fell off a cliff. Now just 14 pace, 14 acceleration. Despite having great composure and finishing, he didn't have the electric speed to go in behind. And that's crazy because you compare that to Mr. Tool, he just didn't need that speed. At the same point in his career, he was still scoring a whole bunch of goals. And other than an injury-ridden season, he managed to bounce back. 23 in 35. And even this year at 33, got 19 in 36. He's, of course, a Ballon d'Or winner, an Arsenal legend. and just doesn't need that speed quite as much. Now with 19 heading, 19 jumping reach, he has managed to keep hold of his elite mentals because he come up through the leagues and didn't take that early move to Manchester United. And didn't end up retiring until 2045 at 36 years of age, where he is now leaving Arsenal. And some would say he could still do a pretty good job. He just scored 14 goals in 29 Premier League games, but for the first time dropped below a 7 average rating. He ended up scoring 574 goals in 826 games, won 247 awards, 18 competitions, and had 26 landmarks. Pretty insane when you compare that to Mr. Small, who scored 179 goals in 375 games and only had 60 awards, 11 competitions, and 14 landmarks. It's clear to see that starting in non-league has definitely been better for Mr. Tall as a non-league level player with elite potential. But what would happen if we made them both the best versions of themselves? We now go back 20 years and Mr. Small is absolutely incredible. 20 finishing, 20 composure, 20 pace, 20 acceleration, just 11 heading and 7 jumping reach being the major differentials. But he now has 195 current ability and starting in non-league. While Mr. Tall just has 13 pace, 13 acceleration, but has 20 heading and 20 jumping reach. And he now starts at Tonbridge in non-league, also having his 195 current ability. Now these two players are the same level, just different builds. Who will do better? Over the next 5 years, we will not be controlling their transfers. They'll be able to go wherever. But hopefully, at least for this first season, we can see them absolutely destroy non-league football. Now, honestly, don't know what I expected this season, but Mr. Tall was just an absolute joke. He grabbed a final day hat-trick, would grab hat-tricks against Bath, and would cause braces against Dover. As you can see from the schedule, he turned Tonbridge into one of the best teams in non-league and carried the worst ranked team in the Vanarama National League South to promotion on 91 points. They scored over 106 goals. And he himself scored 69 goals in 45 games with 15 assists and an 8.6 average rating. These are some ridiculous stats, and I think it's kind of to be expected. He only had an XG of 37, but when you're the best player in the world, you can outperform your XG by 30, and that's what he done here. Really has a value of 33 million, and is wanted by Manchester City and PSG after just one season. So I think this will be it for Mr. Tall at Tonbridge. I'm not really surprised. This milestone screen is just absolutely hilarious, where he got in the team of the week pretty much every single week and ended up with 32 awards. And I tell you what, Mr. Smalls wasn't too different, ending up with 21 awards to his name. This is what we wanted to see from the little man. Electric speed, bearing down on goal and scoring a ridiculous amount. His speed and positioning enable for some pretty mental goals this season. But even despite scoring 50 goals and grabbing 17 assists, he was still in the limelight of Mr. Tall. Because they also managed to lose the playoff final to South Shields with one of the best players in the world in their team. So Telford finished down in 4th place, and I don't think Mr. Small will be staying there for long. In fact, if we jump forward just a couple of years' time, we can see that he is now playing at Inter Milan, carrying on the tradition of Scotsman moving to Italy. Interestingly enough, he actually did end up staying at Telford for half a season extra, scored 27 goals in 22 games there, and then has moved to Inter Milan and been very average. Maybe small strikers just are not hit this year, and that's the whole reason I've done this video, is to find out for good. Was it Tall or Small? It seems to be Tall, because Mr. Small has got 18 goals in 40 plus games in Italy, which is actually the exact same as Mr. Tall, who's gone to Bayern Munich in Germany and got 18 goals in just over 40 games, and has actually had a very similar goal-scoring record throughout his career of 112 goals in 114 games and a 7.38 average rating, compared to Mr. Small's 7.29 average rating, 107 goals in 133 games. So he's doing a little bit better, but it's not quite as much as I thought. Of course, both players' stats are frozen throughout the course of this particular simulation, so none of them, can get to 200 current ability. They will both be staying at 195. And the whole experiment is purely based on who can perform better in the match engine. And as we zoom on into the 5th and final year of this simulation, Mr. Tool has joined Chelsea and been just as average, which is absolutely mind-boggling because he was just absolutely incredible with not quite as good stats. He has now got 19 goals for Chelsea in 50-odd games and overall got 142 goals in 176 games with a 7.23 average rating. In terms of his awards, they're not going to be anywhere near as impressive. Won the World Under-21 Football of the Year runner-up, has got the UEFA Conference League Golden Boot, and seems to have won a few trophies on the way. Runners-up in the FA Cup, Conference League runners-up, FA Cup winners, signed for Chelsea, was Bundesliga champions with Bayern Munich, was Bundesliga champions again, and Pokal winners. And for Wales, has got 26 goals in 35 games. And when you compare that to Mr. Small, yeah, Mr. Small has just not done very well at all. He is a rotational player at Inter Milan, and his stats haven't changed at all. 195 current ability, 20 pace, 20 acceleration, 20 finishing, 20 composure. And he's just got 2 goals in 9 starts and 2 goals in 16 the year before. This guy just apparently is absolutely cursed, and little players are absolutely rubbish. I think he won the Next Gen Award, won the World Under-21 third footballer third place on 2 occasions, and won the European Golden Boy. Apparently, European Golden Boy was Mr. Small, and the year before was Mr. Tool. I feel like whatever Mr. Small does, Mr. Tool just does a little bit better. So for sure, the first simulation of complete randomness and going up through the careers, Mr. Tool dominated. And then in the second simulation, Mr. Small came close, but Mr. Tool once again wins. But I think the final thing is to check us out in the most meta formation, in the most meta team, in the easiest league. Yes, we have plugged in a 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2 out of possession tactic and got Mr. Small and Mr. Tool at PSG. With one of the best teams in the world, with the previous Champions League winners. Can Mr. Small and Mr. Tool go on to absolutely dominate? Can they win Champions Leagues? And how many goals can they get? And I feel like this is the most important test we have done. They are both at their 195 current abilities, but this is the elite of the game. This is the best team in the world, surrounded by the best players in the world. Is it Mr. Small? Or is it Mr. Tool? And when it's got to be said, I'm very impressed by Mr. Small this season. This was by far the best showing we saw from the little guy as he absolutely dominated the French leagues. And he went on to score 29 goals in 31 games in Ligue 1. When it comes to the Champions League, scored 6 goals in 11 games, which is a pretty impressive season. 29 in 31 overall. PSG ended up winning Ligue 1, but sadly did not win the Champions League as they were knocked out in the quarter-finals by Inter Milan. Overall, he helped PSG get 92 points in a completely and utterly dominating season. And it's fair to say he was a completely key player this year. But I think it's very important to remember these stats. 45 games, 36 goals, and a 7.29 average rating. Because if Mr. Tool can beat this, it is clear to see that Mr. Tool and having big strikers with jumping reach and heading ability is much better for your team on FM26. As we've said, it's the exact same tactic, he's in the exact same position, but the results were wildly different as Mr. Tool proved once again that he was the best. I think this video has shown me just how much I'm underutilizing, and probably we all are underutilizing, big strikers that score headers from the back post. Because apparently that tactic can also work at the elite level, as Mr. Tool grabbed 48 goals in 32 games and an 8.11 average rating. Just comparing that here to Mr. Small with 29 in 31 and a 7.43, the final experiment has for sure shown that big strikers, this guy's only 6'4", he's not game-breakingly big, with good jumping reach and good heading, far outweigh pure speed in this version of Football Manager, which completely blows my mind. If you guys have learned something today, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. This has been one of the most fun and enjoyable experiences I've ever done on FM26, and if you want to see more experiments like this, let me know which one's next in the comments down below. We've learned something today. Big men on Football Manager dominate. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll speak to you guys next time.